So today, lads, we're going to be talking a little bit about a article from Alexa Philippou of ESPN talking about Caitlin Clark's offseason. And I gotta say, some of these stories are mad. Absolutely mental. But sure, look, it is what it is. Like, we all know Caitlin Clark is somebody that is trying to be the best in the world. And I mean, she's got the damn Mamba mentality. Whatever you want to call Mamba mentality. Whatever you define as Mamba mentality, there's no question about it that Caitlin Clark has it. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so anyway, we are going to be... Before we get on to that, though, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to hit, by the end of the first weekend of the season, 46k. Right now, we are 450 subscribers off. If we could even get to 45, 550 by the end of the day, it's 5. We might be on track, but let's take a read. So, how can Clark use the offseason to reset and get stronger? And you're looking at the offseason. Geez, do we not remember how long? It's been a long offseason. From the Taylor Swift stuff, to the golf, to her going and just getting, getting random drinks with Lexi Hall, and they got gold cups, to obviously the working out. This was a crazy one, but we are going to be talking a little bit about what is written in this article. And lads, obviously, I seem to struggle to read once I hit turning on the camera. So I do apologize, my reading skills are not ideal. But it says here, obviously, all the things she did. What impressed Amber Cox the most, what came next. Regardless of where Clark was or what event she was attending, she was always back in the gym at Gamebridge by 8 a.m. the next morning. I kind of marveled at it. Sarah Kessler, the Fever's head athletic performance coach, also noticed, I'd be like, you can sleep in if you want, she told Clark. I'll still be there. And when the Fever president, Kelly Krauskopf, was surprised Clark was back so soon from a trip, Clark's response was, I couldn't miss a workout, she told Krauskopf, which is mad. It's winter while most of her peers played overseas and in Unrivaled. Caitlin Clark didn't play competitive basketball other than her occasional star moments popped up on TV or social media. She mostly stayed out of spotlight. It was her first real break since summer of 2023 before her senior year at Iowa. But she didn't step away from basketball entirely. Day after day in Indianapolis or wherever else her not-so-normal life took her. She honed her game on the court and in the weight room, championing her routine above all. So, obviously, that was one of the things, is that she was there, and what she was trying to do was keep a routine going, which is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. That's where I'm going to find my confidence coming into the season, just knowing I've been consistent, whether it's been in the weight room, whether it's been skill development, my shooting. As a rookie, she finished 4th in MVP voting. Obviously, coach said she's far beyond her years in terms of her understanding of how to work. Fever coach Stephanie White told ESPN, oftentimes you see rookies, even the great ones, usually take 3 years for them to figure it out. She's got to figure it out. Ada Krauskopf, who's previously led the Fever from 2000 to 2018. I didn't think I'd find anyone that worked as hard as Tamika Catchings did in the offseason. Caitlin Clark is every bit as much and more. That's crazy. That is a crazy, again, look, Tamika Catchings is Miss Fever. Like, Tamika Catchings is the greatest player in the history of the Fever franchise. Like, Caitlin Clark's going to have to win a ring before that changes. But obviously, Caitlin Clark's the most important player for the franchise. Tamika Catchings has been the best player in the franchise. So, that is a crazy statement to make from someone who worked with Tamika Catchings. And I would not be surprised if Tamika Catchings agrees with that statement. The idea of her leveling up in year 2 with a much improved roster, aspiring to win the organization's first championship in 2012, is nothing short of terrifying for the league as Clark, ESPN's bet MVP's favourite for 2025, and Fever open their season Saturday, hosting the Sky. That'll be a really interesting game. I don't know who's going to win that game. This year, there's a different aura about it. Hull says that she's here and ready to take care of business. 26 days separated Caitlin Clark's final game at Iowa in her first preseason contest. Then she launched her pro career with 11 games in 20 days, almost all against top echelon teams. Like, that was still the crazy thing I've ever seen. That was still such a crazy thing. But as Clark planned her offseason, she prioritized her work on the court in the weight room, while Clark would take short trips for off-court obligations opportunities. She found comfort in her routine. I'm completely fine doing the same thing every single day. That almost is soothing to me. Staying in Indianapolis presented a huge advantage, White said, as Clark prepared for her sophomore season. Of course, because she's still Caitlin Clark, life isn't like many other 23-year-olds or professional athletes. For that matter, she played golf with world number 1 Nelly Korda and legend Annika Sorenstam at the Annika Pro-Am in November, and was prominently featured in Nike's first Super Bowl ad, appeared on David Letterman's Netflix show, and obviously had NFL meetings with Williams and Eli Manning. She meant Taylor Swift. I think that's a bigger one. I think that is a bigger one. As a Swiftie and Longtime Chief fan, she also attended a playoff game with Swift. Yeah. When I saw her sitting and against a Taylor Swift Kelsey box, Jensen said, I was like, what in the world? This is so awesome. And people don't realize people with a certain spotlight, whether it's her, whether it's me, whether it's another professional athlete or pop star, we're real people. Clark said of Swift, we're just having normal conversations as any other person at Arrowhead Stadium that night. She loves the Chiefs just as much as I do. I'm talking football with her. She loved it and just like her passion. But yeah, it is just a kind of crazy one. There's another thing that I do want to say, I do want to find right here. Obviously, just talking about her off season and like just Caitlin being entailed cooking and baking, spending time with the family, constant trips back to Iowa, including for Jersey. There were dinner parties, game nights with Hull and their significant others where they played Gang of Four, Settlers of Catan. Don't know what that is. Monopoly. What's Monopoly Deal? Or card games, things return competitive. You see her and her boyfriend going at it. Her and I going at it. Hull said, I don't know if she and her boyfriend talk on the ride home because it gets so competitive. Yeah, that wouldn't really surprise me, to be honest. To be fair, like, as much as people want to slander Conor McCaffrey, you don't become a top 100 recruit in the nation without being very freaking competitive. But yeah, there is another thing that people I want to find it, and obviously, like, her biggest goal was hit the weight room. We know that. We know that was her biggest goal. The physicality WNBA was considerable. Oh, I'm struggling to read, lads. And she thought that opponents' go-to method of slowing her down was physical, so she wanted to be physical. Can we know that? But there's something that is I really don't care about her. Oh my God, single arm exercises. Clark acknowledged her left arm previously was a bit too weak to throw certain passes. Helped ensure each limb was strong individually. I agree with that. To provide an additional boost of energy for her muscles, Clark added supplement creatine to her routine. That's why she got so much bigger. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why her arms look so much bigger. Even like regardless of the weighting, if you've never taken creatine, you add creatine to your lineup, or it's not to your lineup, to your diet. Like, no wonder you get bigger. But like, this is again, like, she worked with player coach Keith Porter 5 to 6 days a week after he moved to Indianapolis in January. Porter and Kessler also spoke daily to ensure Clark's on-court and weight room work aligned. Porter's aim, he told ESPN, was to complement Clark's game. They honed in on different footwork to get her shots, while also adding floaters to her repertoire, building out her mid-range game, working on more creative finishes around the rim. I said this. I actually, by the way, I said it on a stream. It's a video that's not actually been released yet, but will be released later today. And I'm like, people are talking about Caitlin Clark's handle not improving, and I'm like, it doesn't matter how her handle improves. It doesn't matter if she can go hezzy, tween. Who cares? But I'm like, look at the separation she's been able to create on side steps with her footwork, and her stop starts are way better than it used to be. That makes sense. It's more important. Footwork's more important than like, I have to say, like, anyone who thinks handle is more important or is more important for getting by someone than footwork has not watched enough ball to know why slow people sometimes are able to get to the basket better than anyone else. It's footwork. It's all a collaborative process. One of the first questions Clark asked White after she was hired is if she could see the scouting report the Sun compiled against her last season. Soon after White and Porter arrived in Indiana, they sat in a film room with Clark breaking down areas for improvement, showing her analytics to crystallize what she already felt. When she goes right, for example, she tends to finish the rim. When she goes more when she drives left, she likes to pass or step back and shoot. I think that was literally the scouting report. That was the scouting report. Paige Bueckers gave that scouting report 2 years ago on Caitlin Clark. That's always been a scouting report. She drives right, she shoots left. And even in preseason, by the way, in fairness, she did go right and hit a shot on Tina Paupau's face, but she still likes to drive right and shoot left. That's just a thing. But this is the craziest thing. This is the crazy part of it all. This is what I wanted to talk about. Early in their training together, Porter tagged along as Clark took an extended trip out west. I was gone for a week, she said. And I'm like, I can't do a week of nothing. I literally would have a panic attack. I would hate that. They'd get in the gym before or in between Clark's off-court obligations. When she attended Nike's annual meetings for a couple of days, the pair worked out in LeBron James Innovation Center. It's amazing how she could balance doing events, going to work out, having meetings at Nike, then going back out to work out. I'm just like, you're 23. I know you're young, but you shouldn't have this much energy. She just keeps going and going and going. The end result is a player who operates with much more power on the court, Kessler said, and she should be much more comfortable and confident in doing with whatever defensive coverage she faces this season. And that's the thing. Obviously, after this, you just read more and more stuff about Caitlin Clark, like comparing her a little bit, like not necessarily comparing her to Taurasi, but that's something that obviously people are going to do. Caitlin wants to win. She's going to do whatever it takes to win. Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And like, she's going to do whatever it takes to win, and she's not going to leave to win. And that's one of the big things with Caitlin Clark is that she is going to. I genuinely think going into the playoffs last year, Caitlin Clark thought the Indiana Fever were winning it all, and I think that was her I think that would have been for her what she wanted to do. I think that she was pissed. I think she thought they were going to beat Connecticut, and she thought they had the Minnesota Lynx number. I don't agree with it, but I genuinely think that that is her belief. But yeah, that is just a crazy offseason. Like, bringing a trainer with her. She's gone on a trip. She goes on a trip. And by the way, fair play to Keith Porter doing that. I don't think Keith Porter is a employee of the Indiana Fever organization. Like, not an employee of the individual players. So, like, obviously, I don't think he has to go. Probably would want to go, and the team would want him to go. Probably doesn't have to go out west to work out with Caitlin. But he goes, she literally brought her trainer with her. She brought her trainer with her because she had a week away, and she was like, I can't just not train for a week. I do hope that there is a little bit, it's not too bad, and I hope overworking can be a thing. I hope there's a bit of rest in there. And a week might not have been a bad thing. A week of rest, but still, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy work ethic from Caitlin Clark. But anyway, I'll see you guys.